Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. Today, we're investing in Pokemon. Modern Sealed, it is the way to go. We are all rocket emojis in this video. Next week's video, I will do the disclaimers. I'll get a little bit spicy with other things. But this video today will be solely about what I bought, why. I talked about potentially doing a walk around of the pallet. Let me get to where I'm showing you the pallet. So right now it's staged in my garage. I plan on moving it somewhere else. I mentioned in last video, kind of like a partnership deal. So I am moving this to one of my dad's storage locations, and the top might be in, folks. Be careful out here. My dad is officially investing in Pokemon. He knows that I'm full-time over the past decade in Pokemon. I've talked about it with him periodically. I remember talking to him about $5,000 base for his PSA 10 Charizards. I remember talking to him about $10,000 base for his booster boxes that I was borderline buying myself, and he was fully capable of buying at the time, but never took the leap. He's finally in. He's finally in on half of this pallet. So what's happening is I'm going to bring this over to one of his storage locations. We're going to wrap it. We are going to tuck it away till 2030. We're not going to, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to have the spreadsheet. Maybe in a year I'll follow up on this video, how it's doing. I will contrast with like some other ones you'll see in the spreadsheet when I share that in a minute here. But yeah, this is the pallet in my messy garage. I will be leaving my messy garage soon. But yeah, we're in 50-50. We'll talk about everything that's here and why it's here too. Let's go right to the spreadsheet. I will have to straighten this back up on the screen. But yeah, so the top might be in, because once your neighbors, once your family members, once your barber, once they start talking about investing in Pokemon, once they start doing it, that is when maybe we're at the top of the bubble. You look at the TCG player charts, all these lines going up, all these rocket emojis. Who knows? Who knows? One thing that has been a common theme throughout my 10 years in Pokemon, if I had forecasted out the prices of things, if I had to price almost anything, what's the price of this going to be in 5 years? The number that I would have said almost always would be less. And we'll save next week. Next week will be more of the disclaimers and yada yada. This is just going to be what's on the pallet, and then teasing next week a little bit. So TCG Classic, it's that massive behemoth box. I really like it. It's a unique, first of its kind, highest MSRP ever by far. I just wanted to have some in there. A little bit of skin in the game in that. I mean, what this video will be too, this is not all of my holdings. 2 weeks ago, I'll try to remember to link the video above. 2 weeks ago, I showed you 100K of my Sword and Shield, little bit of Japanese sealed product. That is what is on hand. Some of that is being siphoned off to this pallet. Some of this pallet is stuff that I literally just bought in the 2 weeks, 3 weeks since I recorded that video. So that is not all that I have. I mean, behind me, I just bought some of these Sun and Moon era booster boxes. I've got packs all over the place. I mean, check out my eBay, check out my Troll and Toad. I have a lot of inventory. Other than this is going to be, though, the first time that it won't be completely inaccessible, but it will be buried a little bit deeper in storage. It will be harder to access. It won't be physically on my premises or at my Troll and Toad or whatever. It will be elsewhere, and my dad and I are both in a financial situation that, like, barring anything extremely unforeseen, this should not have to be rated for any reason whatsoever. So let me do a quick rundown, and then I'll go through more, like, why these things, and then why not certain other things. So TCG Classic, Crown Zenith ETB cases, we got the items, the quantities, the value. You might go through this video and you might say, like, oh, Dan, you put this price. Very rough estimations for some of this stuff. Like, you'd probably have a hard time actually getting $1,000. Like, there's not going to be an affiliate link below where you can replicate these prices on eBay. Some of them you might be able to get cheaper through TikTok deals, one-off coupon, like especially some of the Scarlet and Violet Air stuff. Dan, I can get a single SV base booster box for like less than that. You got it at 90 per box for 6 boxes, $540. So you got it at $90 per case. I can get individual boxes for this. TikTok deal that. Absolutely. Again, these are not all hard and fast. Like, you can't replicate all these today. You can't go on eBay and buy one off. Some of them you can get cheaper with coupons and this and that. This is just close enough is what I'll say. This is close enough for the purposes of this video. I'm not selling my dad into this because what this totaled to, we'll get to down here in a little bit. But the Poke pallet totals up to $49,850. My dad is not buying in at $25,000. My dad is buying in at a percentage in the 80s, in the 80s somewhere. He'll be buying into this product, and some of it will be a loss as to what I paid. Some of it is basically what I paid a week or two ago. In the past couple of weeks, I've bought mid 5 figures of Sword and Shield and different products from all these videos I've been making, all this talk of buying at 80+%. So some of it I'm selling to him at a loss. Some of it I'm selling to him at a slight gain, depending on whether you're going first in, first out, last in, first out with like the booster cases that I bought. Some of these Sword and Shield booster cases are ones that I've had since they were originally allocated to me. Most of them are not, though. I've made the videos before where I talked about my whole allocation of battle styles. I sold it like 900 a case. So these are like new cases that came in later. And yeah, I talked in my video 2 weeks ago about the fact that I don't have as much Sword and Shield era product as I would like to have in the future, because the prices went way higher than I thought they would ever very quickly. So it's like I sold them out, and then some of them I could replace for a lot cheaper. Battle Style's one of them. And then some of them I couldn't. You don't see Evolve Skies booster cases on here because the price just seems very, very high. And when your sole goal is gain, when your sole intent is gain, you have to choose between a $720 booster box of Evolving Skies or whatever that works out to times 6 for a case. Do you want 1 case of that, or do you want 6 cases of something else? So here you see what I chose, and yeah, let's continue on down. We got a bunch of Scarlet and Violet era booster case, or sorry, Sword and Shield era booster cases. We got the Zard UPC, which has some Sword and Shield era packs. And then you have the Mew UPC, so you got some 151 in there. Sadly, no booster boxes for the specialty set. Really big fan of Crown Zenith, so ETB cases. I do have my value density that showed up 2 weeks ago. As you can see, that there's no like collection boxes. There's no tins. There are the TCG Classic, which to be fair, that's my least value dense item on the entire thing. There's no Metazoo booster cases. Pretty dark. But there are a couple Japanese special cases. There are some of these other things. As you can see over here. But value density was a consideration. I mentioned my dad and I, we have a fair bit of space, still not unlimited. But what this is kind of like a catch-up palette. This is all at once, up front, getting some products on there. I think what I'm going to do, and one of my talking points down here that I'll touch on, I think Palette 2 will be built more over time. So these things were all like timestamped to today. It's not perfect because you can't really go replicate these prices. I guess the benefit of doing it all at once is like theoretically, hey, these are the market prices all as of one day, but really not replicable. So some of these you can do cheaper, some of these would be more expensive. But again, it is what it is. These are the products that I'm tying up for the next 6 years plus. And I guess let me cover this section, and then we'll go down to the section below. We will save the spicy, fun, and then the boring, I mean, to me, exciting. But the caveats and the disclaimers and all that, we'll save that for next week, so it's in a separate video. Not harshing the vibes of this video. So Poke Palette, $50,000 approximately. Let's round up, $50,000. I have down here a growth rate calculator, so 10% is kind of what is just ingrained into my brain. The S&P 500, as of the time that I'm recording this video, I guess you'll be able to see by the price of Bitcoin, the price of gold, silver, what day I recorded this video. If anyone wants to guess in the comments. I mean, it won't be guessing. It'll just be looking it up and figuring it out. The S&P 500, 5,018. Bitcoin, 57,300. Gold, 2,300. Silver, $26.66. The reason that I chose these 5, I mean, one, the whole video is about the Poke Palette. The other 4, though, I am invested some amount into all of these. S&P 500, by far, my highest. I mean, not counting my whole Pokemon business inventory. So my whole Pokemon business inventory, keep this context. Me doing this Poke Palette, me splitting this Poke Palette half and half with my dad. One, only 25,000 of it is mine. 25,000 of it is his. This is just my Poke Palette that I'm setting aside. My entire livelihood, like my salary comes from Pokemon. My inventory is still higher than my S&P 500. In the next few years, I hope to get that where it flips. I hope to get it where my 401ks and IRAs and stuff actually flip and become the largest portion of everything. I mean, my house isn't factored in here, so I guess I have some real estate going on too. But Bitcoin, I mean, I have 6 figures-ish worth of crypto. So, I mean, you can do the simple math on, I don't quite have 2 Bitcoin, but I don't have too far off either. A little bit of Ethereum, very little bit of Ethereum and things otherwise. Gold and silver, I probably have less than an ounce of gold overall. I don't believe I have a 1 ounce gold coin anymore. Not something you should really be able to forget, but I definitely have some 1 gram. I definitely have some very, very small 1/10. I have some Indian head type stuff. Maybe a little bit over an ounce overall. Silver, I probably have a fair bit. I definitely have some Mercury dimes. I have dozens of American Eagles and things of that nature. But these are things that I'm invested in to very varying amounts. Kind of a weird way to say that, but to very varying amounts, I'm invested in all of these things, and I just want to see how they perform. 10% is what I'm using. 5 years is, I mean, I guess I should say 6 because 2030 is kind of my thoughts on 5.5 years. If Pokemon were to grow 10% per year, $88,000 compounding returns. If that were to happen, do you think in 2030, if I still have a YouTube, if I make a 6-year follow-up, 2030, January 1st, 2030 follow-up, do you think my pallet will be worth 90 grand? Do you think it will be worth more or less? Obviously, what we're not factoring in here, this is more a next week thing, selling fees, things of that nature, capital gains. But do you think the S&P 500 will be higher or lower than 88.90? Do you think Bitcoin will be higher or lower than $100,000? Gold, silver, all the other things. 1 year, I will definitely be on YouTube in 1 year. I will definitely make a 1-year video reviewing this. Do you think the pallet will be higher than 55,000? And what another thing that we can do, we can kind of chunk it out to like, okay, here's specialty sets. So do we think specialty sets will carry? And this is something that I'll do in my 1-year review video. Specialty products, specialty sets, as of today is 6,000 out of the 50. Do we think that will be a higher percentage? Do we think these will outperform? So let me know in the comments below. What single item I will actually be able to rank them. I will rank them top down. Like, Dan, this one's last place. You should not have put this on the pallet. Everything else on average is up 12% in a year, and this one's down 15%. What item here? I almost guarantee one of these items will be down. There will definitely be things that are flat, in my opinion. There will almost certainly be something that's down 10 or 15%, if I had to guess. Like, even though it's modern sealed, some amount of this stuff does flounder. Some amount of it goes flat for a while. Some of these, honestly, I could see some of these being down or flat at a year or two, like 3 years. At 5 years, I'd be pretty surprised, and it would be, it wouldn't be the first time ever. I mean, base set back 2004, but it would be very surprising to me if any of these things were down after 5 years. I mean, Scarlet Violet base, I got the time that these came out, over a year old Scarlet Violet base. Historically speaking, 2 years for like the reprint window. Evolution's 5 years, this and that. But 2 years approximately for things being in standard and all of that. You've got the Sword and Shield sets going all the way back to well, Darkness Ablaze being the oldest one there. I guess I don't know why that's below Vivid Voltage, but let's fix that. So Darkness Ablaze being the oldest one, August of 2020. But yeah, this is the palette. This is what's on it. Let me get to more of my talking points here. We got the nice little calculator. We will make a 1-year review video, 2-year, 5-year. I'm not gonna review this. Maybe in the middle of a live stream. If someone wants to review this, hey Dan, pull up that spreadsheet. Let's see how we're doing, how everything's cooking. 6 months in, a year and a half in. But I'm not gonna make like 10 videos about this. I might just make a video like each year, probably not even like 3-4 years, probably 1, 2, 5 years or something if I'm still making a video. So that's the plans for this. This stuff is not for sale. What I talked about in my video 2 weeks ago, all that stuff, all the stuff on hand, all the stuff at Troll and Toad, like all this stuff on my eBay, that stuff's actively for sale. This stuff for the first time ever, I'm going to, like I've always had this stuff within reach. So when Evolutions went nuts, I sold it all except for that one box that I'll never sell. I oftentimes found myself, I sold all my original allocation of, and I don't see it happening, but like part of the reason that I'm going into Scarlet and Violet on a pallet so soon, I don't think we're at risk of it happening, but Paldea Evolved is already up to 105, 110 a box. I think Obsidian Flames is 100 plus a box. Who knows? Who knows? It's always obvious in hindsight, but the craze of this market, the way things are, maybe they go back and they reprint some Sword and Shield. Maybe that stuff kind of suffers. I kind of doubt it. Part of the reason I put it on the pallet. But there's a world, however unlikely it may be, there's a world where they reprint some late Sword and Shield stuff, and maybe they they let this stuff sit for a while. I mean, some of these Scarlet Violet boxes could be $150 by the end of the year. I'm not forecasting that. I'm not calling for that. But we've seen things like that happen. We've seen all kinds of crazy things in this world we are in Pokemon. It's absolutely astounding. I did get a little bit of Japanese in there. Part of the reason that I didn't do like 151 or anything like that, shout out Retrospecs. Hit them up on Instagram if you're looking to buy any Japanese product. But we're doing a little bit of a thing where he's fulfilling it for me on my eBay. I actually have like 151 V-Star Universe Shiny Treasure on my eBay. And if you look at the item location, it's in Washington. He's actually fulfilling those things. He is stocking those and fulfilling those. So we have a little bit of a retro Evo thing going on. But yeah, I don't have any 151 on hand. I own a lot of it. Maybe I'll make a video more covering. I think Retro actually might make a video more covering the little business relationship we have going on with Japanese products. But I in the past few months, past few weeks, not even months yet, I gave him like a decent amount. We have a decent amount into the multiple 5 figures totaling up over there for eBay inventory. So again, this is what I'm strictly investing in. Not for sale for at least 6 years. This is what's being locked up. I have a lot more than this though. Like this is by no means all of it. What are my Pallet 2 plans? I kind of talked about it a little bit, but I think instead of doing it all at once, it will just be done in the background. And they probably won't get their own like, oh hey, I just put like maybe in a year and a half, Scarlet Violet base booster boxes start ticking up a little bit. Maybe last call from distributors, whatever, they go out of stock. Maybe I put like 8 more cases. One thing that I've said multiple times in various live streams and various videos, I kind of want to have 10 to 20. 10 to 20 of most sets. I don't have that much Sword Shield, as you saw 2 weeks ago. I don't have that much Scarlet and Violet yet, even. So when you say like, Dan, why are you already putting Scarlet and Violet on a pallet? Why are you subjecting your father to buying into Scarlet and Violet? We don't know. It could go up at any time. I'm not just like pawning things off on him. This stuff is literally at like less than I paid for it by the time I hit him with the 80 whatever % we're doing for the buy into this. So I'm putting this on a pallet for us at a loss to what I paid. And again, as I said earlier, the amount will be interesting. So this is a $50,000 pallet. 24,000 of it. Sorry, Shiny Treasure was on there. So 23,000 of it as of today is Scarlet and Violet base. Some of that Silver Tempest. Sorry, I'm all over the place here and I'm grabbing the wrong cells. 20,000 of it. So 40% of the pallet is Scarlet and Violet era main sets. Is it really dumb to put, like, is it really dumb where all the Sword and Shield sets are going through this like crazy burst? A lot of these sets have gone up 20-30% in the past weeks or months. Part of my thinking is like, I don't want to be late. And I don't think, like, part of the reason that I like Ultra Modern Sealed, I don't think there's a risk. There is some percentage risk. I don't think there's a reasonable reality where this stuff goes down 20-30%. And part of me knowing who my dad is and knowing the way that he is, he's going to have a link that goes to a spreadsheet that's updated automatically. And anytime that he wants to check on this, he'll be able to click a button. And just knowing how he is and who he is, he will not want to see a lot of red. I'll make it so if the number goes down, it's red. If it goes up, it's green. We want green. We want rocket emojis, all that stuff. I know that his temperament, the way that he buys and invests in stuff, he's primarily real estate. I'm more S&P 500. My grandpa's more like single stocks and stuff. And I've made the joke before that between the three of us, we have a reasonable portfolio. But the cardboard portion of the portfolio just went up. So yeah, I think the risk of Sword and Shield era boxes being reprinted and that number going red, low % chance, but like some amount of it's there. It absolutely could be done. There's historical precedent for it. More of these later ones. I mean, Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage, they're actually still available at my distributor. I would be shocked if those were to get like even more than that. But Vivid Voltage did just come up on the Pokemon Center. Is that product that they just found? Is that stuff that they relatively recently reprinted? I would think more it's like found product that was just stashed away that they're finally listing. I don't really know, though. I don't really know. You don't really know. No one really knows. So this is I say it all the time, but like a lot of people will talk a lot of things. This is what I'm actually doing. This is what's actually being wrapped up, put away. And one thing I have here, one of the points that I want to hit, this is not a flex. This is, I had some comments right on YouTube. I had some like angry people in DMs, whatever. Some people were like, this is not the flex that you think it is. I know this is not a flex. Check out Alpha Investments. I think every single person who's watched any of my videos has probably seen Alpha Investments videos. He's making a lot of Pokemon content lately. He has 1,000+ boxes. So I'm one tiny guy half buying in with my dad to set this stuff back in New York, in upstate New York. Rudy exists. Distributors exist. As I said, one of my distributors, they have presumably pallets, because for the past several months, they've been slow selling. I mean, 2 or 3 box limit per week per account. They are selling Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze. Silver Tempest, I think, just recently went out of stock with them. At one point, they were doing Brilliant Stars. At one point, they were doing a lot of the Sword and Shield era sets, and most of those are gone now. All the hype, all the hubbub about Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin going out of stock at the Pokemon Center. So the exposure we have here to Sword and Shield era booster cases is 15,000. Like obviously the Scarlet and Violet era is a fair bit higher, but part of the reason that so dollar wise it's higher, quantity wise it's a lot higher. I truly think in 1 year from today, so this is me guessing my own future videos. In 1 year from today, I think the Sword and Shield era booster boxes will outperform the Scarlet and Violet era booster boxes. I don't think that's a big leap. I think most people in the comments below will be in that same front. They'll be like, Dan, why not do this one in a year? Part of it is because, like, I'm locking this up for 6 years. So in 6 years, I truly think this the Scarlet Violet era product, I think that will be more green, bigger numbers, percent per year, total percent. I think these will return higher in 6 years than these ones do. Maybe some people think I'm crazy. I think the Zard UPCs actually, like, if it wasn't for the value density being so low, and I guess as the price goes up, the value density goes up too. But I mean, at Troll and Toad Evo, I have half a pallet of Charizard UPCs already. This was just 4 of them that I had on hand here. So those are going onto the pallet. I truly think, so picking the single best performer. I think if I had to pick the single best performer in a year, percentage-wise, I think it's either going to be the Zard UPC case or like the Shiny Treasures EX. The little bit of Japanese that I snuck in there, I did have 10 cases of this on hand, so I guess I'm keeping four for myself. They didn't quite fit on the pallet, but I put 6 of them on there. As you could see in the photos, they were there wrapped in bubble wrap. Some of them are in the middle too. You can't even see them. I guess one thing I didn't talk about was like pallet building, pallet structuring. Obviously, heavy stuff on the bottom, lighter stuff on the top. You see the booster cases all at the bottom, nicely stacked. You see some ETB cases. You see the Charizard UPCs, Mew UPCs in the back. This is the other side, Mew UPCs there. The TCG Classic is like a real wild card thing. I think I can still get these through my one distributor. I don't know if there's a limit. I think I can buy them. So again, I'm selling them at 80-something% of $250. I pay $240 to get them. So I'm selling them at a slight loss. Half to myself, half to my dad. So all over the place here in this video, as I usually am. But yeah, Pallet 2 plans. I think I will. Maybe I'll put this on my website. I have a website that I'm never going to use for selling stuff again. Probably weird to have a Shopify website that doesn't sell anything. But maybe I'll put a tab on my website that monitors all this. And as I add new product, for anyone who cares, for anyone who wants to bookmark it and check, like I might mention it in a live stream, like, hey, go check the website. Here's the link. I just added 6 cases of whatever to the pallet. But yeah, I started on this topic about 10 minutes ago, and then I think I lost it. But I intend, or at least I have the idea in my mind, to have 10 to 20 cases of every set tucked away for some amount of time. Sell it when it feels like, okay, this feels too high. Little bubbly, little frothy maybe. This is only half mine. So I'm only putting away 5 Scarlet and Violet. I'm only putting away 2 Paldea Evolved, 4 Temporal Forces. So I intend to, at some point, whether it's on Pallet 2 between me and my dad, whether it's on my own thing, I plan to get like a fair bit more of this as the prices stay depressed. I plan to get quite a bit more of this. So part of it is like this could go down. We've seen $79.99 shipped boxes on eBay before. If they come back, I'll be buying a bunch. 80 bucks, $70, 60. Like I don't think it's coming $60 especially. But with TikTok deals, I'm not buying one-off TikTok deals, one box at a time. I'm buying stuff by the case. I'm buying stuff by like 4 cases ideally shipped in a box. So yeah, I covered one nice thing too. People will say it's way too early for Scarlet Violet base. Why didn't you do just Sword and Shield? Part of it, my dad's temperament, not wanting to see red numbers. These like even though I don't think it's happening, these could come down 20% a lot easier than these ones could. In my opinion. I mean, again, just one guy guessing. These could definitely come down 30%, 40%, 50%. A lot easier than these ones could. I don't think that's happening, but like avoiding red numbers is a big part of this. It'll be interesting to see 6 years what such a unique, such an expensive product will be doing. So I wanted to have those on there. Yeah, this is not a flex. Distributors, they're only trickling out. And as the price goes up, if the price goes up, they increase the price or they lower the limit. Combination of the two. So distributors to some extent are investing in product today. Rudy from Alpha Investments is investing in by the millions. By the millions. He's going by square footage of his warehouse, not like quantity of pallets. I'm going by quantity of pallets. Like maybe if myself and my dad decide to be aggressive in this, and I put right here, build a pallet, maybe 4K a month between us. Not me. So maybe I'm contributing 2K. I would probably say 2 to 4K a month. So if we were to do it at 2 to 4K a month total, that's total. That's not each. And say we build another $50,000 pallet. Well, the pallet would be filled between 1 and 2 years. So I could see where maybe over the next like 10 years, we build a pallet every other year, and at some point there's 5 pallets all in existence together. And then again, if I'm still making videos in 5 or 10 years, we can start deconstructing the first one and actually selling it. And that would be an amazing video. Like if I'm still making videos in 5 or 10 years, to actually deconstruct this pallet and then start selling it and show the tax implications and show all the stuff and compare it to this and compare it to this and compare it amongst all these things. Part of the reason I put silver on here too is because like my dad has a lot more silver than me, significantly more. He has, my portfolio is my portfolio. I build it the way because that's the way that I like, and his is different, and it has higher percentages of certain things than I'd have. But yeah, his is fairly high in silver, I think. But we'll see how it does. We'll see how it does. I've seen silver be $50 an ounce back in 2011. That crazy run up. So if it happens again, I mean he's doubled on all he has on that. So yeah, assuming a bull case, what am I going to do? Next 6 years, I don't care what this stuff does. I'm not going into it. If this pallet becomes $100,000 in 6 years, I'm not gonna. I mean that's what it should be. I've been told by so many people it beats the S&P 500 and it always will. Maybe they'll say, Dan, you just put the wrong stuff on your pallet. But yeah, I think in a year the biggest winners will be the Charizard UPC and the Shiny Treasures EX. I think in 6 years, the biggest single winner of any of these. I think it'll be one of, I don't know which one. We never know. Well, Evolving Skies was so obvious, the moon, all that stuff. But there's an alternate universe where they could have printed even more than they did. I know they printed a ton, however many reprint waves. Nobody expected it to be 720. Because it's like, if you knew, and this is more of a next week thing. Next week is going to get super ranty. It might be a little bit boring, a little bit too many disclaimers and caveats, but it's going to get fairly spicy. How are you not a multi-deca millionaire if you knew all this stuff was going to do this? And why are you not building pallets? Where's all your product if you know this stuff is going to do what it's done in the past? Like that's going to come more next week. I'm going to really drill into that. But assuming a bull case, I'm going to have a lot of other product aside from this pallet. I'm not going to rip into this pallet until 2030. We're going to time capsule it, and it'll be fun to dive into it then. But yeah, if we get 25% returns per year, like all these videos of XY era, Sun and Moon era, all Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Diamond and Pearl, if you extrapolate what some of these things have done historically, 25, 30, 40, 50% compound annual growth rate, I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think in 2030 this will be a $500,000 pallet. Do you? Will it be 20%? Will it be 100.5? Will my portion be, will it triple? Will my portion go from 25 to 75 in like retail value? I don't think so. If I had to guess, 10 feels reasonable. I could see it being 100 grand. I could see it being a 12% compounded. I could see the S&P 500 being 10,000 by then. How things go in reality though, a lot of numbers will make big gains all at once. Some years the S&P 500 will go down 30%, 40%. Some years it'll be up 25%. Some years it hits exactly what it's supposed to do of 10%, right? But a lot of times it's not smooth and it's not steady and it's not 10, 12% per year every year. It'll be like all over the place. So just like I am in this video, 30 minutes. Part of the reason I'm doing 2 weeks, part of the reason the next one's coming next week is because I'm already at 30 minutes. Next week will be another 30 minutes. Here's some of the, so anyone who stuck around till the very end, here are some of the spicy topics that I will cover, and also disclaimers. This is not bought in any way that I can affiliate link. Showing a line go up that you were not a part of. It's easy to project out the past on plays that nobody actioned. And I will be discussing, like, if you actually bought Bitcoin at $2, you wouldn't have all you bought today. You would have sold somewhere along the way. I'm not going to delve deep into these. I'm just teasing these for next week's video. The 10 and 25 year returns of each one of these things, I will go back to what they were, and then I'll show you like why it's dangerous to predict that they'll do exactly what they did in the past. The buckets, the buckets, upcoming video collectibles. Shout out Mr. Walrus. He's going to like that one. Upcoming video collectibles. I think that's something he coined, something along those lines. The household saving and spending video. I will reference all of this in that. Applying these numbers, applying like the historical numbers to your portfolio. What would you do? Like, what would you do had you bought all this? What would you do if you had, we'll get into it next. But yeah, like if you got $25,000 today, well, like I took $25,000, I locked it into this pallet. If you had $25,000 fall into your lap today, and you had to lock it up for 6 years, and again, like this is not my only $25,000 that's being locked away. This is not like primary number one. I don't think this will be the best $25,000 in my entire portfolio. But yeah, we'll talk more next week. There's a lot more. This is just like the list that I wanted to tease. If I scrolled down even further, there's a lot more there on things I'm going to cover next week. It'll probably be another 30 to 40 minutes. It might be a slideshow. But yeah, that's it. That is my palette. That's what I have. Let me know. I asked people to comment so many times in that video. What's going to be the best performer in a year, in 5 years, 6 years? What's going to be the worst in 1 year, 6 years? Am I crazy for having done all this? Am I robbing my dad by selling him $20,000 of Scarlet and Violet product at only 80-something%? Should I be selling it at 70%, 60%, 50%? I'll tell you what. The percentage that I'll be offering this to him, I've actually had people reach out to me with like 20 cases of Scarlet Violet base. I offer like 70, 75% on it because I can get it through my distributor. I can call up and order pallets of it. I'm tucking away part of a pallet of it. But not many people are going to be selling. And I've contemplated trying to offer like maybe 80%. Probably a fair bit of people. Would people take 80% on Scarlet and Violet? Probably not 80%. They'd probably, maybe though. I don't know. I don't know if people would take in large quantities 80% on their Scarlet Violet base. I'm not really interested in offering it because I have a fair bit. But yeah, that's my video. I did not think that was going to be a 35-minute video, but that's usually the way that it goes on this channel. This is what's going on. My dad's investing. Is the top in? Will this pallet just dwindle down in value? 25,000, 20,000, 10,000, 5,000 on the way to zero? Because for the first time ever, not for the first time ever, am I deeply invested in Pokemon product. This is a tiny fraction of all of my Pokemon combined. This is less than, my portion of it is less than, significantly less than 10%, 5% even, of all my Pokemon holdings. So all my other stuff can be sold easily, will be sold if needed, when needed. This stuff is locked away though. So yeah, that is my video. I appreciate you all watching. I almost ended. Next week is the video that I've been talking about. 2 weeks. I already recorded some of it, but I will be recording a lot more to do with it. I bought a $22,000, and I might be crazy for this. I bought at like 70%. It is every Sword and Shield era set. It is every Sun and Moon set, master set. Maybe not master with like staff promos and all that, but like complete set, pack pulled, all the promos, all the reverse hollows, all the regulars. It's got Moonbreons, it's got the Latias. It's an exciting collection. $22,000 based on I think like a $31,000 value on TCG Player. The collector app was really useful for that. But 2 weeks, 1 week next week will be like ranting and rambling, all the disclaimers about today's video, all the spicy stuff that I teased a little bit about modern investing Pokemon YouTube. And then 2 weeks. So yeah, we have the next 2 week videos planned. So yeah, look forward to that. I'm really excited for the collection buy. Really, really cool. This is the Sun and Moon era. This is all like the promos and then every set. So that all barely fits in there. The Sword and Shield era, the amount of like the trainer gallery stuff in the later sets, the amount of the amount of promos, like this is one set. I forget which set this is, but very, very exciting. We'll get into that later. I plan on doing like a follow-up on that. Maybe I'll do a follow-up on the $54,000 collection too, just to show how that's going in like 6 months or something. But really excited for that video too. But that'll be in 2 weeks. I appreciate everyone watching. I will catch you all later.